Going live.
A collision with purpose. In pursuit of purpose.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to In the Spotlight, the home of unfiltered conversation, where real talk is what we do. My name is none other than Donna Thompson.
Donna Thompson, and I am Dr. Laxley Stephenson, and we are your everyday regular hosts. And I say that because we have a guest host tonight, none other than, oh my God, it's Mrs. Renee Rogers. Hello, Renee.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
Awesome.
being here today.
Wow. So maybe we can get Renee to introduce herself to our audience. Donna, you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, absolutely. Renee, tell us a little
Oh,
bit about Renee.
all right. Well, Renee wears many hats. Most importantly, definitely an ambassador for God, and that's my first and foremost. And I am a wife, a mother. Um, I help out with my husband's business, but lately I have been doing a lot of coaching. I am a teacher and I've taught high school students for over 10 years. And I'm also in the healthcare field. So, taking a little bit of every aspect I have developed over the years and putting it all together, and has been awesome to birth Resources by Renee, a company, a life coaching company to help students after high school. We're just trying to help them find their way after they have finished all their years of going through, elementary, middle school, high school years, and then they just want to be able to find their way in the real world, doing adult life, adulting they call it. So I'm just kind of here to help them along that way, and it's been amazing. I'm just truly blessed to be able to do so.
Oh my God, as Donna would say, that Donna, that thing is starting to. Oh yes, we as Renee suggested while we're backstage, we need to get that on a shirt quick
Quick,
in a hurry.
real quick.
But you know something that you said, Renee, that is so powerful. You help students after high school
Yes.
because indeed, you know that early part, going to education and all that standard stuff. There's so much work to be done after they graduate from high school. And you know, another big thing is that we're talking about education, and you're an educator. Our main guest tonight is an educator. He's a principal of a high school. But we will get to that. We will get to that. But Donna, today is a big, 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 big day. Talk to us about today and why it's such an important day.
Oh my gosh, today is just January 15th. And it's a day that we celebrate, we honor none other than someone who have paved the way for all of us. Generations before us, our current generation, generations to come. And he lived and embodied everything that we're talking about today. And it's none other than Martin Luther King Jr. And today is his birthday. I mean, and what a great day to be here to just honor him and celebrate him. Someone who just, lives selflessly for his community and his people. So, all greatness here. Look at that smile. Oh my gosh.
Let's
So
hear
awesome.
what Renee want to say about Dr. King. What do you want to say about Dr. King?
Dr. Martin Luther King is, as the kids say, the GOAT, right? He basically paved the way for all of us. And, I'm sitting here watching him. He had that smile because he was walking in his purpose. And,
Mm.
when you're walking in your purpose, there's nothing like it. You just permeate joy, you radiate it. It's just awesome. I think about all his different speeches. He was such a phenomenal speaker. As someone that's aspiring to be a motivational speaker, he's an amazing example of what that is. He was just a great man. He was a great father. He was a great husband. He's just all around amazing man of God. So
A great human being indeed, and one that attracts so many great people to work with him. Because his work, while he was the leader, there are many other individuals that made his work and all that he aspired to do become a reality. So we commend them as well, right? Because
right.
his work, it was so huge, so big. It was not the effort of one person, and so we must commend all those individuals that walked with him and did an awesome job to make it possible. So, Dr. King, we honor you. Today's show is committed and dedicated to you. The work done. So, Donna, let's get back to the business of a collision with purpose. What is going on in the world of a collision with purpose? Can you share with us, please?
Okay, sure. So I'm going to say, oh my gosh. So we have spoken about, of course, our Unearthing You guide that we have spoken to you about that is actually up for sale. It's published. It has a workshop that goes along with it. So if you haven't gotten your copy, you haven't gotten your workshop, go ahead and do so now. However, the big thing that is going to be happening and that's coming up, and I'm really excited, and you all just have to be in the room, right? March 2nd, our colloquium that will be taking place at Shiloh High School. And of course, it's going to be honoring individuals in our community that have done the selfless work of giving to their community, just like Dr. King, so fitting, right? Just like Dr. King that we're speaking about, individuals who've just, given to their community, helped their community, and they haven't been honored. We want to take that opportunity to do so. But Dr. Stephenson is going to speak more about that. But nevertheless, the big thing that's going to be there that I would like to just kind of give you guys just a little quick peek. Dun, 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 dun. It is here. None other than Dr. Stephenson's book, A Collision with Purpose, guys. It's finally here.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, let's say, before we go into the book, I just want to add something. Before I want to just not back up, but I want to touch on something you said earlier. Because in the other shows that we did, you always read something, a
Oh,
certain
yeah.
section from our book. And guess that section that you've always, I don't know if it's by accident, it's intentional. None other than Miss Renee Rogers is the one that wrote that review.
Oh,
So
okay.
while we're on, can you read that review and then we'll ask Miss Rogers to speak about Unearthing You.
Oh,
Just
yes,
say something about it.
absolutely. So, like Dr. Stephen is saying that in our guide on Earthing You, every week I tend to read something from our reviewers, and for some reason, I always end up on Miss Renee Lee Rogers. So let me just read what Miss Rogers had to say.
Okay.
Unearthing You, your guide to self-discovery and personal growth, brings tremendous self-awareness to areas of your life that needs restoration. It equips you with the tools to help you walk in your God-given purpose. This resource provides a solid foundation for creating a successful future through self-development and self-discovery. resulting in self-fulfillment. Those around you will also benefit from your personal growth. This is an excellent investment for yourself and your future. None other than educator and life coach, Miss Renee Lee Rogers, who's here with us today.
Yes.
And for some reason, like every time I read, when I open the book, I'm always reading your review.
Well, I appreciate that. That's listen. I have to say, my husband teases me when I say the word listen. So your word is oh my God, and I'm always saying listen. So, but this unearthing you is an amazing tool. Again, I work with young adults, and I don't know if this is the appropriate time to start talking about this, but
Talk.
this really is it all. It really is. This one particular resource will help so many young people. I'm going to definitely use it because I've been to a high school recently. If you haven't, I'd probably suggest that you spend maybe some time volunteering in a high school. But these young people are really do not know who they are. You know, and when you don't know who you are, how are you going to be able to go out there and do what you need to do? And this particular resource right here, Unearthing You, is amazing to help them step by step. It's not overwhelming. You have to be able to meet these young people as far as how they process things now. Okay, so you can't give them a whole bunch of everything at one time, and you have to be able to break it down. You know, the interactive part of this book, this manual, is it's going to be amazing because again, you have to be they're all about social media, so they're scrolling. They will take this book. Okay, this it's not overwhelming. It's definitely able for them to understand the terms, and you can elaborate on it. I really do. I really like this book. I really do enjoy this resource, and I can't wait to start diving into it with young people because again, that is my heart. And I was looking for something. I'm going to be very honest. I was looking for something that I could use, whether it is right after high school or I have 30-year-old single moms.
Mm-hmm.
So I work with them also. And we're now starting to expand into just single parents overall. Because as a single mom, and one thing I have been learning is just to use your life, and I saw that in here, mapping out your life, the segments of your life, and using that to help others. So I'm not going to try to be someone that I'm not, that I don't understand. And so now we're going to be able to help single parents and using Unearthing You to help single parents really find themselves again. Because when you're a mom, you're a dad, you're grinding to literally just be that person, be the the support, be the guide for your kids, but you lose yourself sometimes in the middle of all that. So Unearthing You is going to help so many different demographics, so many different people that are going through life. It doesn't even matter what age. But again, I focus on the younger people, and I'm just truly excited how I'm going to be able to help them understand that they have value. They have greatness inside of them through this book. I mean, I'm truly excited. I can't even explain it, but it's self-discovery, personal growth is what I'm about because I know what I went through. I know and I can only tell you from experience. And that's the best, right?
Right.
And people are able to listen because they know from where you came from. And having something you can talk all day long, but you have to be able to apply too. So the book allows you to have application, you know, and so again, I can go on about it, but it is definitely a great tool for my young people. I'm get ready because I'm coming at you with the Unearthing You.
Oh my gosh, thank you. No wonder I keep reading
Thank you.
your segment.
So that's why I wanted to back up, and not to go back, but to
Mhm.
get back to it. And Renee, you said something about experience, and something that I am realizing that an experience is only useful if it spurs an action.
Mhm.
And that's something we need to pay attention to. All these experiences are great, but what are you doing with it?
Right. Right.
You know, and that's the key. So we have an announcement to make about this book, how you can purchase it, and how the purchase of this book and my other book can benefit students, and we'll make that announcement tonight. So and that's a big, big deal. So we're going to make that announcement tonight. So Donna, what else is happening?
Oh my
You're wearing that In Pursuit of Purpose thing, and I'm wearing this thing right here, and we have Paint of Purpose, Purpose by Design. We have I am walking in my purpose. We have Created for Purpose. We have all these wonderful, we have shirts, we have hoodies, we have all kind of stuff available. They're hot, they're moving, they're selling. Get yours.
Wait, I think I hear my doorbell. Maybe mine's at the door. Hold on.
yeah, that's the express delivery.
We have our special guests patiently waiting to come on, and we're in for a treat. I'm telling you that. The principal, and I don't want to give it away. We're gonna wait. But so Donna, let's get back to our main gig and a collision with purpose, In Pursuit of Purpose book. Can we get back to that and show us that not for sale version of it?
I'm trying to do slow motion. You guys see it? Yep. There it is. There it is.
Do I need to put my sound effects on? Oh my God.
Oh my God. There it is.
And Donna, can you say something about the publisher of the book, please? Just give credit where credit is deserved.
Absolutely. So the publisher of this awesome work is none other than Victorious U Press, and the CEO is none other than Miss Joan T. Randall, or maybe I should say Elder Joan T. Randall.
And be careful with the title. Elder is important.
But that is our publisher of this great piece of work here for Dr. Stephenson is Victorious U Press, and I think she's on with us this evening. So we'd like to say thank you very much to Victorious U Press and Elder Joan T. Randall.
And interestingly, our guest tonight, there is a chapter in this book that is dedicated to our guest. His story is in the book. His story is in the book. So let's talk a little bit about a colloquium. A Collision with Purpose presents a colloquium, In Pursuit of Purpose. What is happening on March 2nd? That's a big, 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 huge deal.
Oh yeah, that's a very big deal. So of course, like we touched on a little bit earlier, is that we're going to have several guest speakers. We'll be having a number of the collaborators that is a part of the book as well. But most importantly, we're honoring in our community that they're just your everyday individuals who have dedicated their life to serving their community, who they're actually living in their purpose, walking in their purpose by serving their communities. And they just have not been honored. And we would like to take this opportunity to honor those individuals, to let them know how much we do appreciate the work that they're doing and how they're giving back to their community and how they're impacting their communities. So we will have an award ceremony where we will be honoring those individuals. And then, of course, it's going to be an evening of networking, connecting, and we will have some entertainment there as well. And just, a great evening of people coming together, like-minded individuals who are really serious about living their purpose and doing the work that they were meant to do. So, I just encourage everyone to be a part of this. It's going to be a wonderful event. You do not want to miss it. Come with an open mind. And when I say open mind, come empty. to where you're going to just walk away with a lot of knowledge and meeting great people, and just be ready, honestly, for your life to be changed when you leave this event. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, go ahead and get your tickets now. The tickets are going very quickly and space is definitely limited. So once we're sold out, that's it. The doors were closed.
Doors are closed. All right. I think it's a good time for us to take a quick break and then come back with our special guest. So let's do that. Okay.
Sure.
All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. So early on, we said that we're going to make a big announcement today. So before we make the announcement, I want to play a video. I want to play a video and check it out. Just take a listen. Turning every book into a scholarship. Today's topic, empowering education. Turning every book into a scholarship opportunity is very personal to me. In September 2023, I had the extraordinary opportunity to journey to Kenya alongside Pastor Laxley Johnson and a devoted team of missionaries from her organization, MM4H. This trip not only offered me a glimpse into different lives, but also ushered in a profound epiphany during our visit to Lunga Lunga, a community deeply in need of support. The realization that an experience is not enough unless it spurs one into action prompted a pivotal question within me. What is next? Moved by this insight, I committed to providing full scholarships to two deserving orphaned students, turning my reflections into meaningful actions. I have answered what is next. I have achieved that objective. So here I am again, asking myself, what is next? With that in mind, I am excited to share an initiative that embodies this very spirit. The A Collision with Purpose team decided to implement the A Collision with Purpose Scholarship Fund. Starting today, our passion for reading and education takes a significant leap forward. With every purchase of my books, Unearthing You, Your Guide to Self-Discovery and Personal Growth, or A Collision with Purpose, In Pursuit of Purpose, from my website, of course, $5 will be allocated to fund scholarships for deserving students attending school in underserved communities globally. This initiative bridges the gap between the inspiring messages of my books and the real world impact we can make together. Each sale is now a step towards empowering young minds, nurturing their dreams, and fostering their pursuit of purpose. This initiative is more than just a fundraising effort. It is a testament to the power of using one's gift to make a tangible difference. Every writer has the gift of words, every artist the gift of vision, every leader the gift of guidance, and each person the gift of wisdom and giving. When we channel these gifts towards uplifting others, we enrich their lives and find a deeper meaning and purpose in our own. I urge each of you to think about your gifts. How can you use them to contribute to your community, to contribute to the world at large? How can you make a difference in someone's life? The answer doesn't have to be grand. Even the most minor actions can profoundly impact someone. Join us in this noble cause. Your support is not just a purchase, but an investment in the bright future of our next generation. Let us embrace our talents and work together to transform lives. One book, one student, one community at a time. Let us show the world that the potential for positive change is limitless. Let us show the world that the potential for positive change begins with us when we unite our gifts for a common purpose. Until next time on Daily Insights, thank you and blessings always. All right. So, what is that announcement about, Donna? For each sale on our website of our books, we will donate $5 per sale to a cause, and it's under the a Collision with Purpose Scholarship Fund, and we have provided funding for two students so far, and full tuition. We take care of full tuition for two students. They both happen to be in Kenya. However, we're looking not just in Kenya, elsewhere, wherever there are underserved individuals, students in underserved communities is where we're looking. So you must purchase the book or these books on our website. And our website is a collisionwithpurpose.com. You can go over there, purchase the book or the books, and $5 will go towards the scholarship fund. All right. So let's move on. Let's move on to the main gig tonight. So, Donna, can you bring on our special guest, please?
Oh, sure. I will definitely bring on our special guest. And it is none other. Do I need to introduce him first and then bring him on?
Drum roll.
Oh, drum roll.
There you go.
Oh.
Did you do the? All right, there you go. Talk about the man. There he is. Talk about it. Tell us who he is.
Can I get some volume on my mic? I sound to be very low.
We're hearing you loud and clear.
Can you adjust the mic from where you are?
We're hearing you.
We're hearing you loud and clear.
You're hearing me loud and clear?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
We are.
You're in the house.
Okay.
So let me just give a quick introduction. So we have none other than, oh my gosh, he wears so many hats. So we have Mr. Counselor, I don't even know what to say, Mr. Counselor Garfield James, Mr. Garfield James Principal, Mr. Garfield James Farmer, the Mr. Garfield James everything. But I just want to say that, all jokes aside, Mr. Garfield James is a very important member of his community. He serves the Westmoreland community in Jamaica, West Indies. He is the principal of the Little London High School in Westmoreland. And he selflessly gives back to his community. And I can say that because I've had the pleasure of working with him. And so it is my honor to have you here. You're just an awesome person. So welcome to A Collision with Purpose. And we're just happy to have you here.
Thank you, Dr.
Mr. James, before you respond, let me jump in there because, as Donna said, we have done significant work with you in Western Westmoreland and more specifically at Little London High School. And your partnering with you has been so successful the kind of results that we have achieved there, we couldn't have achieved it without you. So I want to personally welcome you to the Collision with Purpose in the Spotlight, where it's all about real talk. And we're going to have real talk tonight. Authentic talk. Just say what's on your mind. Just tell us like it is. And that's what this program is all about. So now it's yours. Tell us who Mr. James is.
Good evening to the hosts and your listeners. Donna did a beautiful job in presenting or giving a synopsis of who I am, but a simple version, just I am a servant of the people, and I love from where I sit in the capacity as a leader to lead in a way that speaks to full representation, through humility and ensuring that the task at hand is done. So it's not merely occupying or going up the rungs of the ladder to a point where it becomes self-centered, but rather that one that allows me to be able to be more far-reaching as I go up the rungs of the ladder, to be able to reach more youngsters that really seek holistic development and really lack the opportunities, and in some instances have the opportunities sitting right there in front of them, but they are unable to unearth their true potential. So I'm really called to service, and I want to continue on that path. And in a nutshell, that's who I am. I'm really about service.
A man that is in service, lives in service.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, you're the principal of Little London High School. Interestingly, I attended Little London High School many years ago. Many years ago. That
Don't
is my
mention it. Discover your age, you know.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm good with it. I'm good with it. You know, this grayness didn't just happen. It happened for a reason. But I attended Little London High School. Tell us about Little London High School? What is it? What is going on there now?
Okay, Little London High School over the decades have really grown. It has transitioned from just, it was not always Little London High. It has transitioned from a point where the school started open its doors in 1975, where we saw only grade 1 to 9, and then it grew into a secondary school to a high school. A lot of the transition, though, really went or came about in the means of really changing the name and adding new programs. But in addition to that, the type of infrastructural work that would require the growth and the name change was not always a part of it, because, you know, resources are always a scarce thing, especially when it comes down to infrastructural work. Today, Little London is one of 4 high schools here in Westmoreland. Or should I say 5 high schools, one of 5 high schools there in Westmoreland, and is one of 2 high schools in Western Westmoreland, because Westmoreland is divided into 3 political boundaries, Eastern, Central, and Western. Little London plays a major role, where it really caters to 5 primary schools that are within the zone. So pretty much those 5 primary schools are basically feeders to the high school. And without Little London, all those students, or the vast majority, would not necessarily have a place at the high school level. So presently Little London plays a very critical role in terms of providing that high school opportunity for many, many students who live in close proximity. It has grown to the point where we offer all the external exams that are done nationally, regionally, which is the CSEC exams, the CAPE exams. We offer the sciences, math, English, as you know, as you all know, what we call the core subjects. And we also, in addition to those academic programs, do offer vocational training. Presently, we specialize in 9 vocational areas, in which we are the center of excellence for 2, in the form of cosmetology and electrical. And in recent times, we added plumbing. We want the students who come through the institution to not necessarily pursue in its entirety academic excellence in the form of theory and certification, but rather we want them to have a mix or a blended approach where they can leave with the academic accreditations as well as leave with a skill. Because these, in a developing economy where you are seeking to grow your communities, parishes, and by extension the country, you can't do it without having skilled workers for the construction industry, whether it's trucking, whether it's manufacturing. And we want to play an integral part in how we transition the students from the high school into tertiary institutions. So in other words, we want to ensure that we do not miss the mark of catering to the holistic development of the students and making them trainable. It doesn't necessarily mean we have the facility to offer the training at higher levels to meet certain expectations, but we can initiate that process by making them trainable. So at the end of the day, they can advance or matriculate into other programs that will now prepare them for that final stage where they become employable. So overall, Little London, with the help of so many well-thinking individuals who have contributed significantly to the school, we will continue to play a major role in how we prepare the next generation on this side of the parish and country.
Renee, I know you're an educator as well. Do you have
Repeat that, Doc.
any? I was saying that our guest host, Miss Renee Rogers, she's also an educator. And I was wondering if she had a question for you or any thoughts, anything she wants to share.
Go right ahead, Miss Rogers. Go easy. Remember, I'm in Jamaica, okay?
First of all, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. James, Principal James. First, I know that you're talking about vocational education. So I'm very glad to hear that, because that's the actually field that I was teaching in. We called it career and technical education. So is that something that's offered to all the students, or is it something that, if they choose to do it, do you make it mandatory? How do you select that they do that? They obtain those different skills?
Okay, good question. They're all exposed to the concept of vocational education through career training and exposure. However, they have the option of choosing the type of vocational skill set that they would want at the grade 10 and 11 levels. So it is really introducing them at grade 9 to the concept of vocational training, and then they get a chance to select the areas that they choose to do. Despite that, though, you do find cases where you have students who can't find the particular vocational mix that they would really want to do, and sometimes they do end up doing a particular vocational area that they don't necessarily intend to pursue at the end of their high school training. But that is due to the limited capacity in terms of the number of vocational areas that exist at the school. But despite that, the entire cohort of 10 and 11 it's mandatory that they are assigned a vocational area.
That's excellent.
For example, I give you an example. A typical example, I did agriculture as one of my vocational choice at high school, and also did welding. And I am presently a good welder, even though Dr. Laxley hasn't given me that welding job as yet. and I am still engaged in agricultural major farming, but it's not my main career choice or what I really would say I've pursued on a long-term basis. So, but I'm still able to contribute to the GDP by doing work in those areas. So despite sometimes they get a chance to do a particular area that they are not necessarily inclined to, it also affords them the ability to learn a second skill that will prove useful in life.
Now, do they obtain any type of, certification or even job placement after they're completed the high school? How are they able to use what they've learned? How do you provide an opportunity to obtain employment, or when they have the actual skill obtained?
Okay, two things happen. One, we do have on staff a work experience coordinator who at the grade 11 or the 11th grade transition or facilitate these students into workstations. We get them in their respective vocational areas, and we are participating companies, entities that in line with the specific vocational area that they choose. They would go on a 2 weeks or 4 weeks work cycle where they're actually placed in the actual world of work, and they are assessed by those internal managers, as well as there's an overall assessment that is done by the work experience coordinator. Upon successful completion of those field work or practical experience that they would have gotten from those participating companies, also certified at the end, certification of participation. In terms of the competencies, from a standpoint of certification at the national, each vocational area, there is an external exam offered by CSEC as well as NC-TVET, which is a National Vocational Training Institute, that they are exposed to and given the opportunity to sit. for successful completion or achievements of those exams. They also are able to use those at the end of their grade 11 or 12 program to seek employment or to use it to matriculate into higher training. So it's a multi-facet approach where there are multiple agencies involved and are engaged to ensure that the process of vocational training is not only that they're exposed at the high school level, but they're actually placed out there in the real world of work, and it's assessed and used to actually give them an opportunity to advance. And the part as it relates to employment, we do have some excellent, exceptional students who, upon going on work experience for the cycle, sometimes are asked, are invited back immediately at the end of their 11th grade program to join the companies. We have numerous examples of that happening within the tourism sector, especially in the hotels. That particular vocational area is food and nutrition. It's one of the most successful vocational areas we have presently. It's always oversubscribed.
That's good. Do you find that the kids are more engaged because of these vocational classes? You know, do you find that they are more, their attendance is definitely improved, or they come, you know, they come to class, they're not, you know, I mean, I'm just trying to see if, because there's a direct correlation with my program that I had, that my students, because of the program that they were enrolled in, they didn't have attendance issues. They were there every day. They were there to engage every day. They, you know, saw the relevancy of how, you know, learning this particular skill was going to help them to advance after, you know, high school. So do you find the same thing?
It's a mixed experience that you get. For example, in your case, where you find your students motivated intrinsically to want to be a part of the program continuously. It's a case where you have situations where some students end up, as I said earlier on, in particular vocational areas that they don't necessarily have the interest for. You find in those instances the intrinsic motivational factors are not there. So you do not necessarily have the type of response or acceptance that you'd want to see as a facilitator of teaching, as a facilitator. However, the vast majority tends to get their first choice or their choice of vocational selection. So you do find where some are not necessarily academically inclined, so to speak, bring out that type of center around them through the hands-on approach that they would apply to the respective vocational areas that they are involved in. I'll give you an example. You do have some students who have challenges with numeracy and literacy, but yet still they are some of the most talented when it comes on to using their hands to either fix, create, or make something. We have right now a group, though it's a small group, but they are excellent at what they do in plumbing. They pretty much can do everything in plumbing right now. The challenge there, though, is getting them to be able to, on the theoretical side of things, manage to read the blueprints, etc., etc., etc. But you find that the extrinsic motivating factors are not much, or is not necessarily required to have these boys be driven by so so you, but you find that it's much more on the positive side in anything that you do, especially with education and your assessment. You 100% response to anything, whether it's exams, whether it's punctuality, whether it's behavioral issues. But we're in it's to the positivity aspects of the vocational years and how it impacts on the students and their behavior and motivation. So if you were to ask me if I needed to add more vocational options, then it would definitely be a go.
Yeah. And how do you get your teachers to are the vocational teachers? Are they is it hard to find teachers to teach the vocational classes?
You ask such good questions. You did a lot of research on this, right?
I lived it.
I listen. I need some teachers down here in Jamaica at Little London High. You gotta send me a few of your guys. It's extremely difficult to find vocational based teachers. It's extremely difficult. The demand for their skill sets are very high, and you find that not many individuals tend to want to go into tertiary training for some of these vocational areas. And where we are now in terms of the requirements to get into the system to be able to teach at the high school level, it's mandatory by regulations that you at least have a diploma at that's a minimum level of introduction to the system. But you find that we don't have enough persons taking up these opportunities. So pretty much most high schools, and especially the non-traditional high schools that offer vocational training, I think pretty much for all of us, we presently have vocational areas that we are unable to utilize due to the fact that we can't find individuals to employ in those respective positions. So you see, if we're not careful as a country, we might have to start import plumbers to come and do contracts here, electricians and so forth. And it's really hard if you want to develop a country for the long term, to be able to not really provide the labor force that is necessary to grow an economy. So as a high school and by extension, the Ministry of Education and the government, it's something that we seriously need to look at. We need to carefully look at what's happening in the schools as it relates to the high schools and those who are exiting the system, because we have too many vacant positions now in Jamaica, in Westmoreland, at Little London High School, and I'm speaking specifically about one Little London High that we can't find to fill. I'll give you a typical example. Music. Dr. Laxley, as a veteran musician, it's one of the hardest positions to fill in high schools now. I've had a vacant position, permanent, clear vacancy for a music teacher for the last 3.5 years, and I can't find a teacher to fill the position. So it is, and it's not necessarily owing to brain drain. It's just that we're not necessarily putting out enough certified musicians, because we have a long list that could walk into the system and do an excellent job at, grooming these youngsters who have the talent in the cultural arts. But
I have one more question though. It sparked when you mentioned about Dr. Stephenson here. Is it a possibility to do online classes? Like for instance, if you're looking for a music teacher, like you said, is that something that is available to do online with the students? You could hire Dr. Stevenson to
Nah,
Nah.
we're not giving. Listen, we're not giving Doc any more work to do. we, we already have him in Africa. We have him in Jamaica,
For
Europe.
sure.
Yeah. But I will take you up on it. I know we can call on his wealth of network and knowledge and experience to do make recommendations. And to answer your question, yes, we do have the facility and the capabilities to do online classes. COVID taught us that very well, and we are left. If we are left with nothing else from COVID, we are left with online class and
Right.
online teaching and learning.
Yeah, I want to add something. You talked about importing plumbers, and that's not a bad thing because what we're doing in Jamaica, it seems like we're exporting teachers to countries like Canada
Mm-hmm.
and the United States. What's going on with that, and what's the fix? How do we
Okay.
cure that?
Okay. It's not that we are. I know that's not what you're suggesting, Dr. Laxley Stephenson. It's not that we are exporting, but we are living in a global village. It's a free market economy, and persons are free to move across any boundaries if they are allowed to do so, and they will always seek opportunities based on their own individual passions, desire, dreams, and objectives. The fact is, as a country, we have to increase the numbers of teachers that we train. How we get to that point is a bigger question, because the reality is that while we might not be able to pay the same salary like in Europe or in the United States, if you train teachers and the opportunity presents itself, they are going to go. The reality is the vocational areas. There's a lot of easier way to make monies these days, and if we do not necessarily agree, it is a fact, but the ability to earn and make money drives passion, and it drives one intuition about the type of career this is that they want to take. In many opportunities, so many youngsters have seen it much easier to make a lot of money rather than going through certain traditional route of going to high school, going to college, going to tertiary, getting a skill, and then go out and work a regular job to earn and to live, when they look around and they see so much money is being made in other ways. For example, artists, we have the music industry in Jamaica does very well, but we're not having the type of balance that we should have. We produce some of the greatest acts that go abroad and make so much money, but yet still within our school formal structure, we're not getting it right. So we produce so many talented individuals who will sing, write music, DJ, but at the same time, they are not being certified. Can you imagine if we were certifying all our performers and they were going through the formal system and then apply that to their craft and their talent, so much better and how much more secure our music industry would be for the long term of this country. So it's a major problem we have, and it's something that I want all of us to look at as well thinking individuals who want to see the best for this country. We need to get to a point at the primary level where we stop the process of allowing students to leave the primary system based on age. You know what it takes for a child to leave the primary system? What qualifies a child to leave primary system? Can anybody answer that question?
The age.
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 Once
So it's a
you reach
pass-through system. Once
you're
you
required to leave. So it's not
yeah.
based on competencies. To operate a high school system. And you're expecting me to teach the high school curriculum starting at grade 7. But yet still, based on age, you send a child to me that is at the kindergarten level, the pre-primary level, the primary level, the grade 1 level. So by the time I get that individual at grade 7, you're 4 or 5 years behind. And then you are expected to leave the high school system, not based on competencies, but based on age. And until we correct that problem, we are going to be faced with the challenges of not being able to train enough persons to fit the type of opportunities that are being created in the economy. Because a growing economy will shift or diversify from just being an agricultural base or be pretty much raw material export type economy. One that produces, one that, one that carries interventions and so forth and so on. And you need the sciences behind that, you need the talents behind that, you need the certification. So it's something that we need to start discuss and it's something that can be corrected. But it needs the political will, it needs the revolutionary approach within the ministry to start that process.
And we're not seeing that right now. There's some serious repurposing that is required. When there's so many competing opportunities out there, that is not requiring these individuals to do as much and to commit as much time to access these opportunities, and that's quite a challenge we have there in Jamaica.
Right.
And
that is why it's critical for us to revisit the value and attitudes approach to building a stronger society. Presently, our true sense of identity has been warped by so many other influences, and we have all the type of competing elements of culture creeping in, and we are pretty much lost our true sense of identity. So you find that we are struggling as a country, and we need to get back to a point where we bring that civic mindness within the individuals that speaks to values and attitudes, and to understand where we are coming from, where we need to go as a people, and to hold dear to our culture and just don't lose it, because once we do that, then we start lose the type of vision that we want and the type of country that we want for the long term.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're a politician, and you touch on civic responsibilities, right? Civic mindedness. What is the participation rate for voters in Jamaica? How involved are they, voters in Jamaica? What is the percentage turnout?
It's not encouraging. It's very low. If you look at the electoral office and look at the data that is available from the last 3, and I'm not speaking to the local government election, just look at the general election. If you look at the data, you realize it's very low. I mean, the last election, we had one of the lowest turnout. Persons might or could have argued that COVID impacted the turnout. But if you go 2 elections behind that, you would still see that the voter turnout is very low. You have an average and high of about 48% of the population entitled to vote coming out. And I think the last one was somewhere in the 30s. Now, in any democracy, when you do not have a greater participation of the electorate, it only opens the door for failure or for lack of accountability, where manifestos being put forward by respective political parties will not necessarily be realized because you are operating within a minority where it's easier to control the minority using scarce benefits rather than doing the type of fulfillment of a manifesto so that the masses can see the work and benefit from it. That is why, for me, I think at some point Jamaica might have to get to a point where we start the debate about making voting mandatory. Once you reach the age of adult suffrage, you should be required to participate in the political process. You go down the street and you talk, 8 of the 10 tell you that they're not interested in voting. It makes no sense. But at the same time, they want to go down to the hospital to access the health services. But who provides the type of management and running of that health service? Is the government. You go down there and you want to go to the police station to speak to some acts of criminality. But if it's government that has to manage and run that. So when you don't participate in these, you pretty much create a greater problem for the society in the long run. I don't know if, I think there are very few, if not only countries that really have mandatory voting, but I think it's something that we need to start look at that. Because what that will do is force the political parties of any given day to ensure that, you know, the masses will be coming out to vote, but they're voting on manifestos, not on just a niche group where you can go in there and be able to do certain things and then come back and win. And then pretty much apply some penalties that is not criminal based. You don't vote, so you pay a ticket. You don't vote, it's logged against your passport or your license or something. But long term, some draconian approaches and some revolutionary approaches will have to apply to this country for us to start seeing some significant changes,
Yeah, and I that's interesting that you would say mandatory voting. That's big. That's big stuff there. It would be interesting to see how they implement such a thing. But I have a question on these platforms or manifestos, as you call them, as they call them in Jamaica. Are these manifestos just to excite voters to get out there, or are they real living documents that these political parties intend to implement? Or are they just to seek votes?
No, they're real documents with real problems presented and solutions and recommendations to solve some of those problems. Remember, if Donna was here, you were here in Jamaica, I know you would be voting. And if you are going to be voting, I know one of the first things that you will be looking at is the manifesto. What are your plans for?
Right. But let me say something. I get that, and that's why I'm saying they're to attract voters. But after the election, these manifestos have specific things in them that we're going to achieve as a political party. Are they pursuing these things after the election? Or is it just a call to get voters to come out and vote?
Yes, yes, they do. But the reality is that in no democracy, in no political system, you have a manifesto presented that is...
Yeah, we're losing you. Can you get closer to the mic or something?
That is always completed. So what you always have to do, you present a manifesto and then you work at trying to achieve the objectives of that manifesto. And you reevaluate but there will always be aspect of it that has not been completed. But the fact is that more and more voters now are voting based on performance. So you have to perform based on manifestos outlined because you have to show achievements to be able to maintain power. And if you fail to do that where we are now, especially with the with the access to the internet, with everybody having smartphones, everybody's on TikTok, everybody's on YouTube. It's like if you have nothing to put out there, then you are in problem, and you must be able to show what you have done, what you have achieved, and where you intend to go and what you intend to do for the people. But at the end of the day, everything is subjective to the availability of resources and the decision as to who should get and when. But critically, it is very important in the process of democracy and political representation to be able to speak to a manifesto and present a manifesto for people to buy into and understand where you want to go with the communities.
Donna, I can see you have a
I
question.
tend to lean over sometimes.
I'm
I'm
learning.
not trying to show my dimple. It's just
Be careful now, you. Be careful now. You don't want to be tagged with a name, Principal James. Principal James, be careful. You don't want to be tagged with a name, no. Be careful what you say.
Dimples.
No, because of the sign of the dimple is in the phone,
Yeah. Now let's switch gear up. Let's switch gear a little bit, because you are a farmer, and you touched on that. While it's not your chosen career, you have done some serious work farming. Can you talk to us about that a bit?
Work on the serious work on what?
The farm.
Farming. The farming
Okay,
industry.
farming.
Mm-hmm.
I usually do a lot of sugarcane. I was one of the major supplier of sugarcane to the Frome Sugar Factory. I eventually left that and went into some, what you call it, cash crops that are quickly grown, that I suffered tremendous losses from predator larceny. So I gradually shifted away from that, and I finally came up with the one that I found to be my favorite, which is forestry. So presently, I am one of the major forest owners, where I've planted thousands of lumber trees, cedar, mahogany, maho, teak. Not only that, I found it to be very fulfilling and a good option. You will not find anybody trying to steal them before they are mature, and it takes a very long. And secondly, it helps to enhance the environment. That section of the community, you find that even the rainfall is much better than other areas, surrounding geographical areas. And it also provides an opportunity for employment, but it's on the long-term basis. So presently, I am at the point of doing forestry. And I'm in forestry. I'm in the business of forestry right now. So I can supply you with the various lumbers that can make good money in terms of seeds and so on.
Yeah. So for, let's say, a mahogany tree, how long does that take from when you plant it to maturity?
Okay, good question. It depends on the variety. You have one that is called a Honduras mahogany. You can cut that mahogany within like 25 years after planting it. you have, and then you have the local, the native mahogany, which is a much densely, uh, it's a harder wood that can take you as long as 30, 35 years before you're able to really cut it for it to mature properly. But then for cedar, you know, you have a mix of cedar where probably anywhere from 18, 22 years, 23, 25, depending on the growth rate. Years long you can reap it.
You said 20 and 30 years.
Yes.
He did. So,
And that's the sort of thing young people don't want to hear. They want what is called instant
Oh my-
gratification.
gratification. Yes,
But
indeed.
what I have learned to practice delayed gratification.
And
But
that is
ironically
delayed.
though, I want to tell you that when I started 22 years ago, when I started doing forestry 22 years ago, I was mocked and jeered by youngsters in my age group. And whenever we meet now to have a drink, it's something first topic we always discuss. How them usually mock and jeer me, and you know, when them pass the plots, how beautiful they are, and so forth. And you know, as much as that might sound simple, it is something that we really need to start teaching our youngsters. That you know, you don't start tomorrow and achieve what you want next week. It's a process. It's a process of gradualism. It's a process of going up the rungs of the ladder. And until we start doing a better job of educating them for them to understand that that's a process that everyone should seek to follow, we will always have, you know, greater level of our acts of criminality, because persons are always seeking instant gratification and instant cost. And if you didn't save any money and you didn't work for it, you know, you're not entitled to experience. It is something that we need to transfer into our day-to-day running with the kids, for them to understand that it's a process to get to a point. You know, it's not everything you're going to. It's a fast track. It's a process.
Yeah. And let's talk about that fast track thing, or you mentioned criminality and a way to avert that is for these younger folks to understand and you know, apply some level of delayed gratification in their lives. What is the situation, especially down here in Western Westmoreland, with crime? What's going on with that? What can you tell us about crime, and how can we curb that? What can we do to at least fix it or mitigate some of the situation with crime in Western Westmoreland?
Yeah, this is a program that you must come to when you want to be hit with hard and complex questions.
Well, this is about real talk,
Yeah,
authentic stuff.
right.
We're not sugarcoating anything.
Westmoreland, like any other parish in Jamaica, it's not immune to crime and violence. The fact is that the police have been boosted with a lot of resources. Not that they don't need more, but they have increased their capabilities to respond rapidly to any acts of violence. They have been increased with the capacity in terms of mobility. The numbers have been increased on the ground in terms of boots on the ground. There's enormous investment coming over $1 billion to build a state-of-the-art police station in George's Place. The Frome police station, a brand new one, is almost completed. The Little London space is also seeing a new police station under construction. There has been major renovation work at the Negril police station. So overall, the police have received some significant boost in terms of their capabilities. They are now using a lot of technology as it relates to how they police the space. It does not, however, take away the fact that we do still have instance of violence and crime being committed in certain space within the geographical spread. But a large percentage of this is based on the poor interpersonal skills that is we find among the youngsters. You find that there are disputes. A lot of the violence is coming from disputes that are not being settled verbally. And if you can't settle a dispute verbally, it means that your interpersonal skills need to be worked on. It means that there's some issue with values and attitude. And it means that there's a big problem with you not having the type of respect for your brother or your sister. So you find that a lot of the violence is being fueled by revenge coming out of disputes that have not been settled and so forth. So overall, crime in many other areas have been trending down. If you look at the last statistical report or data, Jamaica Constabulary Force, you can see that some of the major areas of concern as relates it has trended down. However, murders continue to be a serious concern. But robberies, rapes, other major crimes have been trending down significantly. Where we're having a major concern and we need to put a greater dent in it, it's actually the murders. But this is being fueled by, the lotto scamming and to a large lesser extent drugs, etc. Which those things tend to bring its own share degree of violence, as well as to a lesser extent gangs and fighting over turf. Even though we have not had much of that since the crackdown on one of the major gangs that usually operate within the space. But it still remains a serious concern for us as a parish.
Let's switch from this crime thing. I want you to sell us Jamaica, sell us Little London, sell us Western Westmoreland. Why should someone who's watching this program, who not currently living in Jamaica, why should they come to Little London, to Western Westmoreland? Tell us some of the reason why they should come. It's an opportunity to sell.
Westmoreland is a beautiful parish located in the western section of that. Westmoreland have some of the most industrious set of individuals that you'll find anywhere in the world. Some of the most receptive, loving, caring persons that you would want to share your thoughts with, your day with, you would want to experience. It's a parish that has one of the most beautiful beaches that you can find. It's a 7-mile long white sand beach nestled the wetlands in the Negril section of the parish. Westmoreland has great potential for development in terms of housing, in terms of business. It's a place to be. It's one of the parishes that attracts tens of thousands of visitors every year to its doorstep. So if they can find Westmoreland to be that beautiful of a place, why shouldn't you? Come on down. We'll be ready and willing to welcome you to Westmoreland for you to share the rich experience that exists here.
All right, there you go. Pack your bags, book your tickets, your airplane tickets, and head on down to Negril, to any of those areas in Western Westmoreland. Well, I say Western Westmoreland because that's where you serve. You serve. But just Westmoreland in general, probably one of the most beautiful parish. We have had our issues there, our challenges, but nevertheless, the place to be. So I really agree with you on that, Mr. James. So, Mr. James, you have a election coming up where you will be reelected for councillor for Sheffield division in Western Westmoreland. How's that? How are things looking for you?
Thank you for asking me, because that's one of my portfolios that Donna so beautifully described. The actually I was elected I entered political representation in 2016 under the banner of the People's National Party. I was elected as councillor for the Sheffield division, where I won with the highest margin of victory ever seen in the People's National Party since the inception of voting in Sheffield. The fact is that I am no longer wearing that flag. I am now representing the Jamaica Labour Party, and the representation is still at the Sheffield division within Western Westmoreland constituency. And the support among the constituents is tremendous. It is growing beyond my expectations, really. And I see, based on my own canvassing and the team's canvassing and the data collected so far, the surveys done, the polls done, I see where constituents is ready and waiting to re-elect me back to that position based on the representation that I have given to them thus far. They are elated and they want to ensure that I get the mandate to continue with the progress that I've started so far under the banner of true representation. So overall, to answer the question, things are looking very well in the Sheffield division, for which I am presently the councillor, and in short order will be the incumbent going up for the next local government election, which is due next month.
Next month, February, that is. Donna, anything for Principal James?
Yes, Don.
Actually, no, because I think you all have covered it between you and Renee. You've asked all the questions that was in my head. I have a different kind of question, though, if I could ask. Because your work is so purposeful, Principal James, and I find it more in everything that you're doing is serving humanity in one way or the other. Like, what would you want to be remembered for?
Donna, don't give it away. It's in the book.
Oh, okay.
It's in the book.
Well, I was about to say, please direct them to the website to purchase
Yes,
the
it's
book,
in
Donna.
the book.
All right.
It's in the book, A Collision with Purpose in Pursuit of Purpose.
My
His
address
story
is
is
in the
in
book.
there. Buy the book, support a student by buying the book, and you will get that information. In fact, Mr. James will be on location March 2nd for a colloquium in Pursuit of Purpose. March 2nd, we expect that he will be here celebrating with us in Snellville High School. So he will be speaking at that event as well. He'll be a speaker at the event. So, Mr. James, now that we know you can't give that away right now,
Right.
can you tell us about your experience with A Collision with Purpose and this whole process? Because you've been very involved with the work we're doing. Can you share and tell our listeners share your thoughts with that, please?
I want to sum up my thoughts in one simple expression, one simple statement. And I'm speaking. This is really very impactful. It really goes deep when I'm saying this. Honestly, I really never took the opportunity to look at and to understand the word purpose until I experienced the collision with purpose, led by Dr. Stephenson and his team. And it is this experience, this opportunity that I was about this simple concept, purpose. And I had to sit and think how to answer it. It is a simple word that all of us growing up tend to have heard many times, but never really stop to take stock and to understand the real and true meaning of purpose and the impact that it carries on individual. And for that, for me, that's one of the most revealing experience that I really garnered from this. That it really gave me the opportunity to stop, think, and to look at the word purpose and how fundamental it is. Those we don't exist without. I want to commend you for this initiative. Your story as came about this is also a simple one, but the impact created of work that has gone into this will forever live on. Freedom to say to you that despite the challenge and despite the setbacks, never stop from fulfilling. I thank you for the opportunity to have given me a chance to really realize that Right, that's what I was doing. That's me in a simple way talking about purpose, and that's how passionate I'm about it.
You are indeed very passionate about it, and as you see the comment there, all the best in the election. That is your purpose. I share the same sentiment. Best in the election. That is indeed your purpose. Your life is about serving, and you have done that in everything that you have done. And I have firsthand experience working with you, and I have about your commitment, your dedication, and all about, 2 steps ahead of the expectation. Everything that we have ever requested of you in working with you at your school, in all the many initiatives that we implemented there, you've always surpassed our expectations. And I want that to be said here. So we commend you for that. And that is, I'm sure Donna will pretty much say the same thing, because she's been a part of the projects that we've worked on at your school. So you're a man that deliver, and you deliver. That's all I want to say.
You've set the bar. You've set the bar so high that our expectation of others is, maybe a little bit challenging.
Well, and so while we're here, Donna, as you're saying that, now we're talking about Principal James here, not Counselor James. One of the things that we would like to see happen is we did a project with a university in France, where we presented to a group of about 100 students, 100 students. And what we did, we gave them an opportunity to critique our organization, but not just to critique our organization, was to come up with some problems, to identify some problems. And so identify some problems and gave us the problems, and then we in turn would say, give us the solution for these problems. So we included them. That's something that I would like to see happening at your school in Jamaica, where these kids, these students are not just there doing academic or other kinds of work. No, they engage with identifying their problems, their issues, problems that are their challenges affecting their situations, but they're also part of the solution. They're also part of the solution, coming up with solutions, right? And I think we talk about crime and all those things. Let's look at crime. Causation. Because I understand that there are all these police stations. I don't think those stations are solving crime, because they're not looking at causation. They're there for punishment and so forth. So let's start to look at causation. Why are people committing the amount of crimes they're committing and the different types of crimes, right? So let's take a look at that. And that's something that we here at the Collision with Purpose would be happy and excited to work with you on. And we have this new thing where when we sell books, as long as they're being bought on our website, we have this scholarship thing that if it's 1 or 2 students, so we can assist with this type of project, have to facilitate them doing their work, then that's something we can look at as well. That I know I'm talking, and I know I'm making decisions here, but what do you think?
Oh no, I'm me 100% in. Yeah, once it comes on to the children and it's going to benefit the children and for them to be successful, I'm all for that. So we are dedicated to our future generation.
Okay. Yeah, I really love that suggestion and the action that was carried out in terms of actually allowing the students to be able to present on paper what they see as challenges and to make possible recommendations to address them. And from those discussions, sometimes where you can find the real and true solutions. And it's also opportunity that allows them to be able to become a part of the solution. And that can only seek to enhance motivation and, give them an opportunity not only to be followers, but to be leaders in resolving and making recommendations for some of the challenges that they are the ones who really face day to day. So it's a brilliant way to really interface as well as to bring some of the challenges and put forward some of the recommendations. I think I like that verb.
A great
And
resource.
in addition to that, it's Ms. Rogers, maybe this might lead to some possible collaboration or exchange program in the future. As
I know that Mrs. Rogers is also from Jamaica. From Jamaica,
okay,
she is just not first generation,
okay,
but she's and by the way, she is my niece. She's my niece. So for full disclosure, Miss Rogers is my niece. But
okay,
was an awesome person and doing great work. So we thought it fit to bring her on this program, especially as an educator, and you being an educator as well. Thought it would be a good fit for tonight's conversation, and clearly it
excellent.
was. All
I know
right.
I keep putting this up, but it's a great resource, Principal James. A great resource for the kids.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful.
And for your
Definitely.
teachers, by the way,
And
and
for
for
the
your
teachers.
teachers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And for your teachers. Maybe you need to see how we can get that in the school.
Yep.
In school, and for to do some
Don't
good there.
worry. When I get there in March.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, guys. Well, we've been on now almost 2 hours, and this show
Oh.
is supposed to be a 1 hour gig.
Mm-hmm.
And Donna, for whatever reason, your show's been running almost 2 hours every time.
My show.
Your show.
Oh my gosh. My show.
We need to get this back to the 1 hour, but it's been impossible to do that because all of our guests so far, they've come in and they're talking real stuff, real authentic stuff. They're saying things with serious implications, making a difference in lives. So we let it go because that's how things work, right?
Right.
But we must, all good things must come to an end.
Unfortunately, but it has to.
To an end. So, Principal James, it was just amazing having you on our show tonight. Is there a final word you want to say to our listeners, to our guests?
There are so many options available on the wide web for opportunities to engage, whether it's in live interviews or participating. But there is nowhere else I would have chosen to be tonight rather than on this platform. I truly think that it's a really grand opportunity for others to really be able to listen, motivate each other from their different experiences and their thought-provoking analysis of situations and what we really want to look forward to as a people, for our country and our communities. and it can only get better. And I want to commend the team for taking the time out to bring this opportunity to us on a weekly basis. And I pray that you will continue to expand and grow this program with the idea of reaching more people, that it can create the type of impact that we want, and then the positive results coming out of those wider cross section of the globe that we are actually reaching right now. So congratulations, and keep up the hard work, and we'll continue to play our part in making sure that we continue to serve humanity.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And talk about expanding. And I just want to make a quick announcement here that A Collision with Purpose, Bridging Generations, Voices of Men in a Changing World, will be aired soon. That is a show that we'll be talking to young men, older men, coming together and having conversations. Our host, Juan, he was our first guest on this program. I myself, I'll be there. Mr. Augusta Foster and Xavier Wilcox. We'll all be. This is going to be a powerful show. We're going to be talking to men, having conversations with men. And again, it's called Bridging Generations, Voices of Men in a Changing World. So that's something that you may want to come back and have a conversation on that platform. And that we'll be airing that show on Thursdays at 7:30. And we promise that will only be for an hour, Donna.
I won't be a part of it, so.
Well, we're not saying we won't invite women to come on. We're just saying that is the show. That is the show. Because when we need perspective, right? Right, Renee? So, Renee,
yes.
your final words, please. Go. We need to wrap this thing up.
Mm-hmm. I think
you're. I hear you, Renee.
I can't, Renee.
Well, we lost. She is. Yeah, you're not muted, but we can't hear you.
We're not hearing you.
Yeah, no.
Renee, you probably have to put it in the comments. Write it in what you'll find.
In the comments.
In the comments.
I can't hear you.
So Donna, let's take us home, please.
Okay, sure. Once again, I want to thank our audience for joining us this evening for another wonderful episode, and definitely thanking our special guests, Principal James, and our co-hosts, Renee Rogers, for joining us. It has been a very insightful conversation, lots of information. As you can see, it's supposed to be an hour show, but when it's good talk and it's important talk, hey, we just keep on going. And thank you for all the comments that we have received. Once again, I would like to say, if you have not purchased your tickets as yet for the colloquium, March 2nd, go ahead and do so now. And make sure you have a seat in that room. Otherwise, you're not just missing out on an evening of networking, but you're also missing out on an evening of changing your life. So take your life in your hands and make a change. And that's it for myself this evening, and have a wonderful evening.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and blessings always.